Eyes wide open, woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open the road. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These chains we grow, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets, wide open.
Hey, this is Audi Rob with Wide Open World Podcast, coming to you with more information that make you want to say, wow. Hey, that 3-Eye Atlas, we got more information. I found other information from another psychic that they're all lining up, and the remote viewers on this is a spaceship. See, I'll let her explain how that goes down, but they thought this thing was a comet all until it got in our solar system. Then all of a sudden, from what I understand, the satellites near Mars that they caught the spaceship was actually interacting with Mars, and that was the reason everything shut down. Well, hear this out from this psychic, because she's pretty much right on point. She's pretty much like right there. And you got to hear this. So let me bring it up to the old situation, to the screen here now. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get here. And let's go into and see what she's got to say.
The channeling for me. So let's go there. The amazing 3-Eye Atlas.
Come on now.
As well as the Swan Comet and the Lemon Comet. Okay. So my hit on what I was showing is that 3-Eye Atlas is alive. It has consciousness.
Wow.
It is a ship. And everything has a consciousness. A rock has a consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But this ship has a consciousness on its outer shell as well as on the inside. I was told that this was a ship that was filled with people, Martians, the residents of Mars. As they were aware of the cataclysm coming, and some were able to get onto a ship that went way out into other galaxies.
Okay.
Looking for a place to colonize, looking for a place to land and safely go forward. In that movement of planet to galaxy, they, of course, encountered other beings. And the other beings were sometimes friendly, sometimes not. There was interaction. There was falling in love. There was interbreeding. There was a hybridization of so many different types of beings.
Wow.
It had gone so far out, it is now returned to see what home is like. And can they go back? Can they settle back in and recolonize? So that's my take on them. It is not a comet. A comet is like Swan, and Swan is here for healing. It's in Orpheus, the constellation Orpheus.
Wow. So that explains it. That explains the other object she mentioned too, that was Swan. There was another meteor that came close to Earth at the same time. Well, I should say not meteor, it's a comet that came in close to Earth at the same time that this 3-Eye Atlas was discovered. And it came in a lot closer to Earth and came past Earth. So she's saying that was Swan, which is an upgraded energy. Wow, that was crazy, because they mentioned about this other meteor that came in close to Earth, but I knew it was something to do with Swan, but she said Swan dealt with healing. This is amazing. This information is like out there. Like, wow.
Yes. And that is the double-headed snake. In fact, that is also the eye of Taurus, the bull, and it is all about healing and reconnecting. And this brings me back to the DNA strands, because the double strand has a connection, and then there's a wrap around that. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's okay. And then the lemon is about that's in the Big Dipper.
Hmm.
And the Big Dipper, it's near the North Star, the comet itself. And so what is that? That's about finding your own inner North Star. So here we are with this ship, for lack of a better term, this conscious ship that is able to house life. I want to give a credit to Barbara Hand Clow, because I was listening to something she had to say yesterday, and she's a formidable astrologer, astronomer. She's practically a geophysicist. I don't know, maybe she is by now. She said that the cataclysm that happened on Mars, well, it happened at the same time in our realm. That Mars was populated while we were populated. That she said that the pyramids that are on Mars align with the pyramids in Egypt.
Whoa. The pyramids that are on Mars, they've already talked about the pyramids on Mars. Those pyramids on Mars are aligned to the ones in Egypt here on Earth. They discovered this a while back. There's also a face on Mars, and I can tell you how in another episode how that face got there. And it's so funny how they tried to erase it and show that it's not there, but it's there. But wow, these pyramids have already been discovered on Mars, and they've already been talked about. So she is right on point when it comes down to this part of it. She is right on point. Continue.
It's a plateau. And that Mars has got unlucky, that we were like sister planets.
Wow.
And Mars was unlucky, and the cataclysm hit there, but did not hit Earth. And we escaped the cataclysm. And she has also said that each pass at these planets that Three Eye Atlas is doing is upgrading the planet. It went by Venus. Venus has been upgraded. It is October 3rd, it began its journey closest to Mars. Now it's headed out to the sun. So it upgraded Mars as it went around, and it's going to the sun. It'll be conjunct the sun, and it's the perihelion. It can't be seen because it's already too close to the sun to be seen, but it will be close on October 29th, and it will upgrade in the sun. And then it's going to pass to Earth. So December 19th is going to be close to us. And then November 3rd is going to pass Venus. Then it's going to come to us. So it's going to upgrade Venus as it goes past Venus. It's going to upgrade Earth on December 19th, and then it's going to make its pass through Jupiter on March 16th as it exits our galaxy. Now, I find it strange that the government has this, I swear, planned shutdown
Right
and
in time.
unplugs all the cameras. So we can't see what? The descendants of the original population of Mars disembarking from Three Eye Atlas and setting up a colony on Mars.
That's what the
I haven't
satellite
had
saw.
that dream yet. But that is what logic is telling me. I also am getting that the generals are going to stand firm, just as they did in Oregon. They're going to protect protesters. because protesters have the right to protest in this nation.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully more are going to join on that bandwagon, or the whole thing will just go away, like so many of these proposals that occur in our current government. But we must continue to hold space no matter how difficult this is, because can you imagine what it would be like if it weren't for people like you and me and the rest of the tribe that comes to understand these meanings and meetings?
True.
We're the Atlas. What was Atlas's job? He had to hold up the earth. He had to hold up the water. He had to hold everything in place. It was deemed as a punishment for something he had done. But was it really? This was his job. This was what he was volunteering to do. And that is where we are. We can look at it as a punishment, maybe if there is such a thing as a heaven and hell and purgatory, as the church proposes,
Not
as Christianity says, purgatory is right here on earth. But one way or the other, we made a soul contract, and we know what we're doing when we make that soul contract.
true.
And we came into this earth to hold light and to hold space for those who are in need, for those who are trapped, for those who need healing. And sometimes we all need it too. Even though we're the ones providing extra strength, we need that same healing. We have to rely on each other for that. You know?
True.
I am being shown, and I'm sure they're still out there. There were these birds. They were heavy bottomed. It was some sort of a barometer. And if you had a glass of water in front of them, the beak would go dip into the water. So the barometer would create this cradle.
I remember
right?
those.
And it would swing back and forth
Birds
like a
used to rock back
Metatron.
and forth. Yeah.
Metatron. And sometimes my dad had two, one for me and one for my little brother at the time. So we were always playing with this thing. But if the water dried up, they didn't move. But if you had water in the glass, they would dip. Well, they would also get in sync with each other.
Ah,
And just like a Metatron, if you put it next to another one and they're not ticking together, they will find a way to tick together. The same thing with these birds. They found their own way to
right.
be in sync with each other. So
Same
they didn't
concept.
bang beaks in the water, but just went down and
Same concept. I'm using the same concept. Right now, you see a lamp here on my left, the lamp on my right. These two lamps, right? Sometimes when they come together, like closely now, when they're syncing and showing the same type of light that glows, when it comes together and they're synced together and they go together, everything comes together in the area and the atmosphere of the room, and the energy in the atmosphere of the room is all one. It's deep. But I understand her concept of that. But we're gonna get a little bit more into this. But yeah, I wanted to get more in, show you that Three Eye Atlas is actually a ship. But she gets a little bit more interesting and a little bit more validation on what she's saying as a psychic, to let you know that she is on point on what she does, and she's been doing it for a long time. So let's continue to figure it out. Listen to this
went
part
next
right
to
here.
each other. They are in a frequency now that is in the 15th, 16th, and 17th strand. It is available through our DNA strands, but that is a realm that is way above the crown chakra. And so, in fact, this is part of my channeling for the message for October and November. And what we have to do is remember our spiritual sovereignty.
Yes.
What we don't know about DNA is there is no junk DNA. And they keep telling us there is.
Come on.
No, there is not. What there is DNA strands that we are not aware of. And until we become aware of those strands, we don't know they exist. So when we look at the strands of DNA from 1, 2, and 3, it takes us to a point we're in 3D, which is what we refer to all the time where people are stuck, and they are stuck. And each one of these levels of DNA strands that are utilized by you shows you a chakra or a higher level of chakra that just isn't dealt with on a normal basis. So 1 through 3, when we go 4, 5, 6, we are now getting into the dimension that so many soothsayers, psychics, mediums, Akashic records readers, we're all in that same realm. And that 4, 5, and 6 is taking us higher, where we are in touch, where we know this is what is true, where we can confirm and communicate. And then as we go up through 7, 8, and 9, now we're getting connected to the even higher realms and becoming closer to that crystalline fiber that so many are saying we are leaving our carbon base behind and getting higher. Well, in the carbon base, you get all these crazy messages coming in, and in that, it how shall I say this? It confuses. It keeps you like we have to have one foot in the 3D world because we live in this 3D world, and we have to be able to deal with it on a basis, right? Well, you'll notice that you go less and less into that world as you go higher and higher, because the crystalline energy that we are trying to change into gathers less information. Not less higher information, just less lower realm
Information,
information.
lower vibration.
And so, not that it's harder to deal with, it's just we're more reluctant to step our foot into there.
Right. Ah.
So that is a big part of what the message is for the
Wow.
rest of October and November is seeking your spiritual sovereignty. How do we obtain it? How do we keep it? We have to think of ourselves as having an inner Merkaba, because that's what our DNA strands and ribbon starts to show us. As it spins, they connect and we see the Merkaba spinning. And there are 12 available to us while we are in this life on Earth. As we go higher from there, it becomes in the angelic realm, in the ascended master realm.
Wow.
So when we realize that it isn't junk DNA, it's just learning how to touch within yourself to connect the double strand of DNA, so that when it spins, your vibrance, your frequency keeps going higher and higher and higher. And then people come to you and you're catchy. That frequency, that vibration that you are emitting is what people seek out in their relationship with you. So, how do we do that? We have to unplug. So, the messages for October and November is to regain your spiritual sovereignty. We're born with it. It is only through life that we begin to forget it because it gets poo-pooed so much by parents and churches and government and all of these no-sayers
Tell
that
it, girl.
you can't do that. You don't have the power to do. How would you
See,
know that? You're only
thank
4 years old. You knew it. You knew it then,
you.
and it's with you now. So the
Shake.
message is unplug, find your spiritual sovereignty. If you are willing to give that sovereignty to others, the power of that sovereignty to what you think is above you, you have to realize that many of those ascended masters were once earthlings.
Mm.
Elijah and Enoch,
Break it
who
down.
are Metatron and Sandalphon, they are inseparable. Sandalphon is the sound, Metatron is the color, and the two are inseparable. Where you have color, you have frequency. Where you have frequency, you have vibration, and all of that remains the same. But Enoch and
Elijah.
Elijah were cousins or brothers,
Wow.
depending on whose tale it is, because there were so many interpretations of the word brother.
Mm.
But they both ascended and became angelics. I have been keeping,
Wow. That is something. That is something. That is really something. She got more of an insight and gave you more of an insight on the energy and how that played a part in spirituality and that we have to look at. So that Three Eye Atlas actually went by and upgraded some planets and is going to upgrade planets and on its way out with consciousness. We are consciousness. The ones that are aware of consciousness, oh, we're going to get an upgrade. And it's going to be a separation from us from the people who are not aware of consciousness. That's going to go over their heads because they're too busy being distracted. They're too busy going to work, following the program of the matrix. They're not asking no questions. They can't wait for the next event, to the next concert, to the next game. They're just going to work every day, paying bills, getting caught up in the political situation was going on between government, or caught up in the Hollywood and what they're doing because what's going on with Hollywood and how that's coming down. Yeah, so they're just being distracted. They don't know. They didn't know. They're thinking that the government shut down because it's just shut down. Because that's what happens with the government. Sometimes it shuts down. But wait a minute. When was the longest shutdown for a government? Oh, we need to start looking at that next. When was the longest shutdown? Because this one it will be guaranteed to be the longest. And it all depends if that three eye atlas decides to stay in our solar system. Once it gets a certain orbit, it can stay within our solar system and it'll just be there as a part of our solar system. So they'll always be here. So hey, that's the other aspect of it. They hope that won't happen. They hope it keeps going right where it's supposed to comes keep getting right on out of here, just like a Muamua, you know. But that Muamua was also conscious in that route in its orbit and how it came in and left. So that Muamua it was something behind that one. But this one, oh, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. It's a ship. And y'all happen to cut off the feed from NASA just right there at Mars. Y'all cut the feed, shut down cut the feed. How are we going to cut the feed real quick? So it just cuts off the feed across everybody. How can we shut this thing down? We got to shut down the government. Let's shut down the government. We will think of an answer later on. But right now, we just saw a spaceship that interacted with Mars in our satellite, and we have to cut the feed to everything. And we'll decide from there. But in the meantime, we don't have any answers, so we must shut down the government. But we'll keep Trump and everybody else going, doing what they got to be doing because we got to hurry up and get this thing in place by 2030. And they're here already. We didn't expect for them to be here this soon. I can hear if I was a fly on the wall, if I was a fly on the wall, I could hear it right now. But it's too late. Y'all can't stop what's coming because we're already here. The divine, the chosen, we're here. They coming for us, or they upgrade us to a point to where we're back to where we were before with our natural powers that we've had that have been dumbed down that you guys were so afraid to see. The ones that the powers that you guys made movies on that it's so true. but we had to dumb them down by the food that they ate in the pineal gland. We had to calcify that, and we had to just decalcify them from the Creator, from the divine, and Mother Earth. Oh yeah, we had to disconnect them from that. Get them shoes on there on your feet. Oh yeah, get away from having more greenery near the concrete of Earth. It's just we got to get them more to concrete so that vibration will bounce off of concrete. It will have no communication. It will just bounce off of other frequencies that are around them near the concrete stone with Mother Earth. It just plugs us right into the ground magnetic energy that's there within the earth when you touch grass to your feet. But it's a whole different thing that you guys don't understand on vibration frequency. This energy that we have that they cut us off from is within us. And that's why when Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas that if he wants to know the gospel, wants to go to heaven, you must go within. Because when you go within, you will see everything. But anyway, this is Audi Rob with another message. But hey, don't be scared. They're here to help and upgrade. I just wanted to let you know they're here. Peace, love, and light. This is Audi Rob. Let this generation know that they're here for the help. Everybody. So now, I don't want to leave because this is so good. Yeah, intro, take me.
Blast wide open, woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open, woke. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These days we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets.